Hey everybody, I'm back with another DM's Guild review. This one is on the Piety system that was introduced in Mythic Odysseys of Theros, and how we can apply that to the Forgotten Realms deities to spice up your games. Stay tuned. This piety system is kind of interesting for those of you who aren't in the know of it. You worship a god, but you don't necessarily have to be a cleric. So you can gain benefits from the deity that you worship through piety points. You don't have to be a cleric of Mask necessarily. You could be a rogue that worships Mask, and you gain benefits through that relationship that you've made with your deity. I found it really cool in Mythic Odysseys of Theros, but I personally wasn't going to run a game, and then I ran around a gentleman who made it on the DM's Guild for the Forgotten Realms. So we're going to take a look at that today. Okay, so diving in, we're going to talk about the gods of Theros first. So I'm going to pick a random one. I don't know these very well. Nylea, you're going to be the god of the hunt. So this system, you pick a god, you worship that deity in some capacity. And it has a bunch of, like, what kind of a champion are you for this god? So it'll say, what is your alignment if you follow Nylea? And suggested classes, like you could be a druid or a ranger, barbarian, cleric. If you're going to be a cleric, the nature domain's best, and then backgrounds kind of help. So crafting your character either before or afterwards, you can look at this and say, oh, like Nylea is the god for me. And then there are some, why do you have Nylea's favor? There's some circumstances here. And then what does it mean to be devoted to Nylea? And then you can earn and lose piety. And piety is, it's a way of just doing like god points. So think of it like that. Like you are scoring points with your deity. And so in this one, if you heal a sick or injured animal, you gain a point. Slaying an aberration, a fiend, you gain a point. And these points don't necessarily disappear when you use abilities or anything, but it is a way of knowing like what's your connection to your god. So it's kind of a separate experience tracker, which may or may not be fun for you, but I think it's really cool to have. I can actively roleplay my deity's wishes, and in doing that, I can gain this. Or as a dungeon master, I could put my players in a situation where they have to go against their deity's wishes, and they will then lose piety points. So it's kind of interesting. Yeah, because your score goes away if you kill an animal for any other reason other than necessity and things like that. So now that you're acquiring these piety points, you get certain interesting bonuses. And a lot of these are spells in Mythic Odysseys of Theros. So as a devotee of Nylea, you gain Hunter's Mark. At 10 piety points, you get Speak with Animals a number of times per day. At 25 points, you when a beast is about to attack you, it makes a saving throw. And on a failed save, the beast has to choose a different target. So Nylea is like protecting you. And then at 50 points, you can increase your dexterity or wisdom by 2, and the max capacity by 2. So this is a fun level up, like you're really playing heroes. So we're going to look at that same system, but for the Forgotten Realms using those deities. If you play in the Forgotten Realms, I think this is a fun way to kind of spice up your character and just, I don't know, get extra cool abilities and be the heroes of Faerun that you're kind of supposed to be. So this was written by Mr. Oliver Clegg. It's a really fun supplement. So we're going to dive in right here. And we'll look at a few gods and kind of see that it follows the same format. So he's got, how does it work? And I'll zoom in here so you guys can see a little better, and maybe I can see a little better too. And we'll go like that. There we go. So how does it work? He took the structure for the piety system from Mythic Odysseys of Theros. And under the DM's Guild license, he's able to do kind of the same things, basically. So it tells you get rewards at certain things, and then the Faerunian pantheon. And these aren't just like the main gods. Like he's got gods that are very specific to dwarves and elves and what have you. So it's good. Like if you want to play, like Garl Glittergold is in here. You could definitely play a gnome that worships Garl Glittergold. So some of my favorite deities And I'm sorry, my mouse has been acting weird lately, but I wanted to do a rill specifically. So Aril is the Frost Maiden. She's kind of a deity that is in the spotlight right now because of the recent adventure Icewind Dale Rime of the Frost Maiden. And I've always liked Aril, and if you're interested in about a lot of these deities, I've made a playlist on a lot of the deities from the Forgotten Realms that you can check out. So specifically, Aril, your alignment is usually evil, often chaotic. Barbarian and druids are good people that would worship Aril, which kind of makes sense because of being in the frozen north. If you're going to be a cleric, a nature or tempest cleric, and then some of the backgrounds. So Aril offers strength to those that can weather the cold. And a lot of like Aril followers, the rituals are all about like bringing yourself to the point of frostbite, if not more. So here's some devotion to Aril, like you can do your ideals, which one kind of makes sense for your character, and then earning piety and losing it. So you increase piety when you prepare others for hard truths, enduring unavoidable disasters, being honest, especially when it would hurt somebody. But your score decreases if you offer comfort to somebody. That's not the cold, hard life of Aril. If you are aligned to protect someone's feelings, or if you show weakness in the favor of adversity. At third level, or at 3 piety points, you gain inspiration when you deliver a harsh truth or knowledge that someone doesn't want to hear. At 10, you gain a bonus to your armor class equal to your proficiency bonus, and if you take fire damage or are damaged by a critical hit, you lose this benefit of this ability until you finish a long rest. And that's fun. I like that a lot because of the... I don't know, you're kind of protected until you've shown a sign of weakness where you got hit too hard. And then it's like, well, yeah. And the fire damage makes sense and it's fun. And as a DM, I can play off of that. Cryogenics at 25, you cannot be damaged while you are petrified or unconscious. And then Chosen of Aril, you may use an action to spend an inspiration die and freeze yourself into an ice statue. In this state, you are petrified. This state lasts for 1 minute. And rereading that, I was a little confused. I think that inspiration die is supposed to be inspiration, just inspiration, not, because I use inspiration coins and then those give you advantage, you know? So I think he is specifically calling that, like if you have inspiration, you can use it for this process. Yeah, let's do Bashaba. Bahamut. Bashaba. Really cool. Yeah, that's really cool. So Bashaba is evil, chaotic. I like the evil gods, if you don't know. Rogue, bards, or druids, and things like that. So here's Bashaba's favor. You were born under an ill star. Everyone who meets you seems to undergo a swift and unlikely demise. Very fun things. And then same thing, the devotion to Bashaba. Bashaba is the goddess of bad luck, for those of you who are new here. So earning piety and losing it, we thank Bashaba for averting disaster, because a lot of praying to Bashaba is, Bashaba, please protect me by not looking at me. Like, I would like to weather this by you just like not giving me bad luck. And so it's kind of, that makes sense for me. Making sure the goddess is ceremonially invited to a function, ritual, or event. You lose it if you worship or call on the aid of Timora, Lady of Luck, if you forget to invite Bashaba to an event or ceremony, or not offering sacrifice to Bashaba for staying her hand when things are well. 3+, you gain inspiration when, despite your careful planning, everything goes horribly wrong. You can cast Bane with this trait, requiring no material components. At the wrong moment, Piety 25, anyone who rolls a 1 within 30 feet of you suddenly finds the result of their action to go disastrously wrong, dropping a weapon or setting a house on fire. That goes, again, with enemies and friends, so that's fun. I like that a lot. And then Chosen of Bashaba, you may use a reaction and spend an inspiration die to force an enemy to re-roll a saving throw and take the lower result. I like that a lot. Another god that I really enjoy is Savras, and I was going to float on down to Savras. All right, Savras is the god of divination. So lawful, usually wizards pray to Savras. Savras's favor, devotion to Savras, earning and losing piety. You predict the future or read an omen. This would be really good for a divination wizard. You cast a divination spell. You pierce an illusion with your intellect or magic. These are all fun. But you lose piety if you ignore an omen or prediction if you are fooled by an illusion. Very, very fun trait there. So Savras trait at 3, you gain inspiration when you see through an illusion or perform a divination. Omens and Riddles, Piety 10, you cast Augury as a ritual with this trait requiring no spell components, but Wisdom is your spell casting, so that's cool. All-Seeing Eye, you can cast Divination as a ritual with this trait, and once you do so, you can't cast it in this way again until you finish a long rest. And then finally, you spend an Inspiration die to gain True Sight for a minute. I want to do one more, but I don't know specifically who to do, so I might just randomly see where this takes me. Mistra is probably a good one, but we kind of did that. Umberlee would be fun. Loviatar is always a favorite deity of mine. But if we do one that is kind of, we're going to do Gond. All right, Gond, the act of creation. So he is a builder, a tinkerer, a smith. Alignment is usually neutral. You can be an artificer, a wizard, a rogue. You could be anything, but that's suggested. And then circumstance, you've invented something unique and incredible, and so you're just blessed by Gond. I like that. People seek you out across the land for your beautiful or skilled craftsmanship in a particular trade. You got some devotions and things like that. Earning and losing piety. If you invent a new object or device, this would be great for an artificer. Fixing or maintaining an important object or device. Creating something, however small, that has an emotional meaning to you or your companions. You lose piety by deliberately obscuring progress or invention. Going for an extended period of time without engaging in an act of creation. You gain inspiration when you successfully craft a sentimental item for another character or NPC. You may use an action to reach into your belongings and produce an item worth less than 25 gold pieces you could have made with any artisan's tools you are proficient in. You must finish a long rest before using this feature again. That is pretty fun and kind of coincides with the top one. So I could produce this item, and this item is a ring that I made, and I give it to an NPC and gain that. And then craftsman needs to sleep. You may craft through a long rest and still gain the benefit from that rest. That's very fun. And then Chosen of Gond, you can spend an inspiration die to cast Fabricate with this trait, requiring no material component. And once you cast the spell in this way, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. Intelligence is your spellcasting ability for this spell. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the Gods of Faerun, piety mechanics for the Forgotten Realms. I only review things that I really enjoy and I feel like I would use at my table. And since I run a lot of Forgotten Realms games, I like this. This is a awesome piece of DM's Guild stuff. If you do want to pick it up, there is an affiliate link down below, and that will take you to the DM's Guild where you can purchase it, and a little bit comes back my way, supports the channel. It's kind of awesome. If you like this, let Oliver Clegg know that he did a really good job, and the art is fun, and it's just very clear and structured. Like, I could print this off and give it to my players, and I like that. And I should have said this at the very beginning, but I'll say it right now. This was donated to me, but I did reach out to Oliver and say, hey, I want to do a review of your really awesome Guilds piece. Could you send it to me? And so he did send me a complimentary copy, so that was very nice of him. If you are interested in other reviews that I have done, you can check out this playlist here of a bunch of different stuff. I recommend all of it. It's a lot of fun. If you're interested in more of my lore videos, there's some Spelljammer stuff over here you should check out. It's really interesting, super fun. As always, subscribe, share this with a friend, be awesome, and take care of one another. I will see you all in the next video.